Hey guys, I want you to listen to this. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about Kansas City in this video. First of all, Kansas City is a city that's under occupation. You can call it a military occupation, a police occupation. There are helicopters that never leave this neighborhood. And so last night, as I made the decision to go to Portland, there's a helicopter that wouldn't stop circling this house. And I don't know whether this house was targeted, to be honest with you, for reasons I don't know, or whether it's the whole area. Of course, to a lot of people that are used to helicopters, it's paranoia to even suggest there's any surveillance going on. This whole area is under fucking surveillance right now. And without a doubt, they're scanning these homes for bodies. Just for fun, just as an exercise, for future events or other things. There is no reason that they need to be circulating nonstop in this area. If there was a manhunt, there would be police out there with lights up and down the street. They stay on the air, the eye in the sky at all times. It's like a military occupation. You don't ever want your city to turn out like Kansas City. If you do, I don't know. You've been taken over. Maybe you didn't fail. Maybe you did everything you could. And you need some help. But I've reached out to some people. I just can only assume they don't have the time or they don't trust me. But I've reached out on those Facebook pages. People say they didn't see it. A few hundred people saw me. There isn't much of a community here. At least not one that seems to welcome an outsider that's already done media. But people have told me, hey man, it's cold. Nobody does anything here in the cold. It definitely was record cold this year. This was my first 6-month winter. But there is a level of distrust, and there were a whole lot of people that eyeballed me today. Especially when I went down by the Sprint Center. And at one point, and I was interviewing people, by the way, what they thought of the economy, what they thought of the world. Those videos are coming up later. You're going to crack up by some of the things that were said. This one African-American man was admiring Hitler for contributing to depopulation. I kid you not. That video could go viral. Let me know what you think about it. I haven't put it up yet, but it's a video that could gain some traction. I was in a state of shock to hear someone whose ancestors were slaves admire Adolf Hitler. And my friend Aaron Edmondson in Portland, he sent me something that I just saw. There's a lot of this pro-Hitler stuff going around the alternative media, that Hitler was right. And here we have the government saying conspiracy theorists are aligned with white supremacists. And there is this, and it doesn't mean that there isn't black and white crime and issues, but there is a narrative that's being pushed that there's almost conspiracy to exterminate the white race. And there's certain people promoting it. And I feel like in this shift, man, I'm going in a whole different direction. And as this decade goes over, I'm going to challenge some of those bullshit ideas that people are peddling. They have the ear of millions of people out there that think that they're awake. I am going to challenge their bullshit. And I don't have to call them out by name, call out the behavior. But let's get back to Kansas City, a heavily fluoridated city. I didn't grow up drinking fluoridated water. I grew up drinking regular water out in the country, in Aurora, Oregon. Then I moved to Portland. I didn't grow up as a little boy in Portland, but my dad was in Portland, so I got to know the streets of Portland in the 80s. They were awesome. Dangerous for those that were living the other life in Portland, in the underground in the 70s and 80s. And there was a lot going on then, before the world of Big Brother. But I just want to say that I didn't grow up drinking that, so I'm not affected in the same way. I still have my awareness, and I feel affected in a negative way by drinking what I have drank so far. But there are reverse osmosis filters at some of the grocery stores here, and that's the best thing someone can do. And then treat that water later, possibly. At the very least, let sunlight restructure the molecules of the water itself. I highly recommend that. But Kansas City, by the way, appears to be under occupation, and it's an issue that I want to make you aware of. It was a couple of years ago, they talked about the North American Union. Kansas City was supposed to be one of those future New World Order capitals. In case you didn't know that. A lot of us were talking about that a couple of years ago. Jerome Corsi wrote a book about it. Maybe Jerome Corsi knows a little bit about Kansas City and why there's such a... But it's just north of Dallas, not exactly north, but it's up the I-35 corridor to a point, It may go off a little bit. I'm not exactly sure. But Kansas City, Missouri is definitely centrally located in this country, more so than Colorado, which is much more west, but only a few states. And it feels very much decrepit, like Harlem, like the East Coast. People are very angry. I've seen women screaming in the streets for their crack out here. And I haven't seen that in a couple days, but when it was cold, there was some really weird shit that happened outside this window. You know, watching one pimp literally hit the girl as she walks to condition her down the street, right out this window. There's a bullet. See, none of this is supposed to reflect negatively on my friend that brought here. But I'm not going to hold back the reality of what this is, what I sacrificed to come here. I'm not going to hold that back, that I came to a place like this, and I wasn't told it was like this at all. All of this was new. So I have forgiveness as a friend. Thank you for helping me, but wow, you could have told me the truth of what to expect. Maybe then I would have contemplated. I did not expect anything even remotely like this. The person that brought me here betrayed himself, not even to someone to be like married or with someone, as someone that had a lot. I'm not rich, but I got space. We won't starve, and you'll be able to do all this. I've been online. I've had shelter. There's lights up here. There's potential in this type of a space, but it's not meant to be, and it's not their fault, and I'm not really mad. I'm just sharing that there was some miscommunication, and I look around and I see an environment that I'm not accustomed to, that I'm kind of in shock that people are accepting. What's in the water, the helicopters, the chemtrailing every single day, and God knows what else. But I do know that they've arrested people that have bought houses that used to be drug houses, simply because they've marked the houses. So it's clear that they've marked this area. They don't want new people moving in, fixing the homes, or letting them fall apart. Sometimes they burn down for whatever reason, and they don't rebuild them. By the way, this whole area feels haunted as fuck. They seem to have some sort of a plan for the future of Kansas City. Now, how does that relate to the old North American Union plan? I don't know. I knew that before I got here, but I figured maybe there would be a lot going on. That's what I assumed about Dallas, that downtown Dallas would have a lot going on. Downtown Dallas was an archonic nightmare. You know, you got to settle for, a big slice of pizza in Deep Ellum, and maybe a couple brewskis for $3.50 or $4. Maybe go to the Freeman. The Freeman in Dallas, Texas is the only place of value, by the way. John J. Myers, don't know him, but wish I did meet him. Probably the best place you can go if you ever go through Dallas. You got to hang out at John J. Myers' spot, the Freeman. And I went there for a Ron Paul event. It had a really nice vibe to it. A lot of the other bars, I'm not kidding with you, I don't even know John to even give him promotion. A lot of the other bars haunted fucking up the ass, along with the fucking studio I was staying at. That place has got history. But I'll tell you what, there were more active libertarians that I found in Dallas, Texas, than I found in Kansas City, Missouri. I don't know what the issue is, but let's just say the people of Kansas City, I believe, need to be put in our hearts. And I want to close and say I'm grateful to have been seen, to have seen what I saw in the last couple of months. This town is very much laid out like Portland in terms of east, west, north, and Portland has a lot more of a vibe to it. It's not so much the people that make it special. People can tap into a special part of themselves there because Portland is special. And I'm going to elaborate that, what is special about Portland, in another video, because I think people confuse it with the personalities and egomania comes about. And I am simply going to peacefully say that I love Portland, but I want to express why I love Portland, and that's different than the things that maybe others have identified with, that may be wanting to personify it or make it about themselves and, dance a little dance and go, I am too sexy. I stand by what I said before about the zombie apocalypse and apathy. I just don't want to get distracted being angry. I expressed that part of myself. Now it's time to go deeper into the social analysis on why we do what we do, on why we think what we think, and how do we get out of this matrix? How do we become better people? And with that, I'm going to close. There's going to be more YouTube videos coming your way. AlexAnsary.tv is the website. When I get done moving, I'm going to get back to updating that. If you'd like to donate to my upcoming ticket to Greyhound, and a thank you to those that support already, or donate to anything else that might be able to help me ground myself as I get to the Pacific Northwest, you're free to do that. My email's down below. That's my PayPal ID. I feel a lot better than I did this time yesterday. And I want to thank you for watching.